So today I'm going to be colour matching a Lamborghini Revuelto. So yes, people are crashing them already. So I'm going to do some spray out cards to try and match this colour, as you can see there. So first off, we're going to put the colour into the colour code into the machine. We're going to find out exactly what colour it is and what it consists of. So I'm not so sure how much of this you're going to be able to see, but what we're going to do is we're going to search for the code. So if I click up here, you can see there that I put it in earlier. So it's 0407, and it's got the little asterisk on there. So that's your Lamborghini code, that's your Lamborghini colour. So there we go, that is what the colour is called. So Verde Citria, or Citria. So this one here, if you look, it has a picture of a truck. So this is for, well, I think it's for trucks. And this one has a picture of the cars. So we're gonna go for the car one anyway. So showing you on here are two different variants. So basically, when it comes out from factory, you get this, which is prime. You can see there it says prime. Now prime means the standard shade. Now what they've done here, so we're going to be mixing this in PPG, which is what Lamborghinis are painted in from the factory. So what they've done here is there's no prime, so the prime must be well, must be not very good, to be honest with you, so it must be not a very good match. So we've got the lighter shade, and we've also got the greyer shade, so the grey shade, which is a PU. So PU is greyer, plus L is lighter. So what I've done is, if we click on one of those, it will actually show you what goes into it. So 0.25 here is 250 mil. Well, it's actually done in 250 grams. So here it'll show you what it's made up of. So you've got the main layer. So your main layer is made up of these different tinters. So the tinters are different tints of paint, and those are how many grams go into each color. So of each color, sorry. So for instance, the E390, so if I go grab an E390, you'll see what an E390 is. So if I come up here, so we've got an E390. Now, if you look at that, that is, shake that up. There you go, that's the silver. So that's 390. What you do is you put down that main layer first, which will give you your base color. You then put down the tinted clear coat, so transparent coat, tinted clear coat, pearl coat, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. So if I click on that, so that is made up of just a few. So this 010, so that is clear. That's just completely clear base coat. So that literally has no colour to it at all. And then there's two greens in there, which will be pearls. So 610, should we have a look at that? Let's have a look at the 610. So, where is it? 610 is here. No, it's not a pearl coat, actually, it's a solid green. So 610, and what's the other one? It's a 620. So to be fair, they could be both tint coats. Yes, so they are both just solid greens. So, which means all the colours going to be, so all the pearls in this colour. So if I switch this back on, I turned it off because it's glaring a bit, but if I switch this back on and give you a close-up picture of the close-up, look at this. So you can see here, let me get the torch. Right, let's get that on it. All the pearls in there, so there we go. Pretty crazy. What that'll be made up of, so is the base coat. So the base coat will be made up of that, and then the tinted clear coat is just a green that goes over the top, transparent green, which gives you the full colour. So I've pre-bought this in here per litre, so I've bought in 4 litres, so to do the spray out card. So we've got a litre of the clear, so the tinted clear transparent coat, and a litre of the base coat of each variant. So obviously remember the variants, so if I spin this round, We'll spin it around. Got two variants here. So you've got the lighter and the grayer. So PU is the grayer. So what we're going to do is we are going to mix them up. We're going to do some spray outs. I'm going to show you how the spray outs work, how we create the different colours, how we create the different coarseness as well underneath, which is extremely important to create how coarse it is. If I spin this around now and show you, you'll be able to see, look at that light's a bit flickery. Can you see how coarse that is there? There's not focusing on it. Yeah, create that coarse texture on there as well. So not only do we have to replicate the color, we have to replicate the coarseness, the metallics, everything like that, to make sure it's absolutely perfect. Because when the sun hits it, if the sun hits it in a way that yeah, it's going to show. It's going to show. So I'll show you exactly what we need to do. So it's transparent layer, and that is the ground coat, main layer. Hopefully these have been shook already, but you never know. So let's get this one opened up. Cool. Yeah, that's very sparkly, as you can see there. So I'm gonna do, give that a good stir anyway. It's really important when mixing paint to get down the very edges. So like scrape the edges of the tin, because if you don't scrape the edges of the tin, the problem that you will get is it will literally, well, you could have any colour in there that's hanging around, give you a different colour as you go throughout the process. Or if you change colour and do the spray outs and then you order some more in, if there's like a few grams of another colour in there, to be fair, this one looks like it's been mixed pretty well. But if there's a few grams of a different colour, see there, see on the edge. Can you see how dark that green is there? That's just set on the edge there, just here. That's why it's really important to mix your paints properly, because all you've got to do is mix one slightly different to the other and you end up with a colour you can't match. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these on the scales here. Don't know whether you'll be able to see that. You'll have to excuse the mess as well, we've been extremely busy. So if we pour out probably about 300 grams, 300 grams is going to be enough to these cups are lovely to pour out of as well, as you can see. Make them really well. Right, so roughly about 300 grams. So, and then you add a thinner, so it's pretty much just, I think it's deionized water, but so you're going to add 20% of this. So this was 300, so I'm going to add 60 grams of water in there. So I'll just pop you down to here. It's pretty cool when you see it going in actually. You'll see it start reacting with the paint that's in there. A little bit more. So I'll just pop you in here. You'll see it moving all the metallics around. And they kind of move around by themselves, to be honest. You see that in there? Right. So we're going to get that ready to spray. Going to mix that up in the cuts. Really done this before I started filming stuff.
Well, you can edit it up, can't you? Or just pause it for a minute.
Maybe I don't want to pause it. Maybe I want to film your face. Yeah. Right.
What's that?
What's that thing? So paper-wise, paper. So this is just normal masking paper. However, so it just comes in a big roll like that. It's two-sided, so see that side is matte. That side has a slight shine to it. I don't know whether you can see that. It's a very slight shine to it. So the matte side is facing down. You want to be spraying onto the gloss side, because if you spray onto the matte side, sorry, that's old rustling paper. So yeah, if you spray onto the matte side, basically the problem you'll have is it seeps through, so it's porous on one side. So when you're masking a car or anything like that, make sure you make sure you spray onto the to the slight glossy side. Do that. Yeah, that's pretty loud. So we're going to set out 10 spray out cards, so 10 in total of this, and this is 10 of just this one colour. So as you can see, they're white, which is kind of like the ground colour that we need. 1, 2, 3. So there's 10 spray out cards there. So they are white. You can get them from anywhere. They're metal cards. So one side is like that. It contains this. So that's to show that the color is actually covered. It's covered enough, so it would cover black. However, we don't want to be trying to cover black because it's never going to cover black. Let's face it. This color. So I'm going to line these out in a row and then explain exactly what we're doing and exactly how we're going to match this paint. Right, let's get some paint on these. So I'll go into guns and gun setup another time, but could easily use the Iwata Supernova. I've just been using them for ages. They're really good guns. Got split nozzle as well, so yeah, pretty good. The joys of using non-genuine PPS cups. They always seem to change the ends on them. So some work on the old style 3M1s, some work on the new style 3M1s. Slightly different end. Right. There we go. So that's ready to go. So that is the pearl, that's the base coat in there. So the ground coat, as you can see it there, the actual, the metallic coat. So we're going to go in there, we're going to put 3 coats on and a drop coat. And then put the tinted clear on, and we'll just see where we're going with stuff. Right. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go lighter shade here and the greyer shade here. Hopefully you guys can hear me because obviously the spray booth is on, it's pretty loud. So just going to pull that up. I'm going to clean this off as well in a second because I'm pretty sure it is covered in junk on there. So I'm going to cover up the lighter shade so we can do all the grey shade first, basically. ground coat going on. So we spray it 2 bar, which is there. That's 2 bar. But you want 2 bar. I'll turn it off. You want 2 bar while the paint is coming out. So when you click on air, that's just air. Then there's paint. See it drop down? When it drops down, it needs to be at 2 bar. And that's 2 bar there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put probably 3 coats on here, and then that's 3 full coats. So we're just drying the water base off at the minute. I'll show you, I'll go and get the actual dryer in a second. But just a little bit of a grip coat to stop it from reacting. It sometimes reacts if you put it on too heavy to begin with. Just dry those off real quick. So that's the first full coat on there. As you can see, they're all soaking wet all the way along. So that's the first full coat. I'm going to go and get the dryer, which is essentially just a fan, and dry them off. Yeah, we're going to dry it off. While I'm drying this, I'll show you, while the water base dries, you can almost see it dry across the panel. Yeah, rather strange. It dries out and goes matte, but I'll show you. So you'll see that drying off in a minute. That's probably going to be pretty loud. So if I turn that off, you can see here, this one is pretty much dry. Only a very slight little bit of damp on that outer edge. This one's starting to dry, this one's wetter, this one's still wet. So that's how your water base dries. Always make sure the water base is dry before you put another coat on. Okay, so that's that first coat pretty much dry. So we're going to chuck another coat on there. So to be fair, 2 coats are actually getting quite good coverage on there. The reason I can tell that it's getting good coverage is if you look at the black. So the black 2 there and the black 3 somewhere around there, they're pretty much covered. So they don't usually cover, they won't usually cover black. If it's supposed to be over a white base and it's covering the black already, then it's actually pretty good. So we're going to dry those off now. And then we'll put another coat on it just to be on the safe side. Flat that back down. So that's coat 2 all done and dry. So we're going to get another coat on there. So that's the third and final coat of the ground coat. So we're going to get them dry, and then I'm going to put a drop coat on there, and the drop coat is to even the metallics out, make them all sit nice, and just try and make them a little bit coarser as well, because although they're coarse, they're not as coarse as they are on the car. Okay, so last 3 coats and they're dry. So we're going to put a drop coat on. Now the drop coat, so this is quite important, the drop coats are probably most important. We're going to drop that down to 1.5, so 1.5 bar on there. 1.5 bar. And they're put on from a slight distance to allow the metallics to drop down and even the metallic out on it, basically stop it from looking patchy, and also give you that metallic a little bit of a pop. So that's it. So that's literally it. But if you look now, you'll notice it's almost got a bit of a texture to it. It's kind of like the metallic is way coarser, way coarser. So yeah, we're going to dry that off, and it's always really important when you do the drop coat to do it while the heat in the booth is off, because if it drop coats on there dry, it sits all funny on there, and it will still make it look patchy. So I'm going to get these dried off, and then we'll start putting the tint coat over top. Right, so the gun's cleaned out, so we're going to swap over to the tint coat, so the tinted clear. The bit of nothing that makes a massive difference. So just going to take that down so you can see what I'm doing here. Gun's all clean, chuck that in there. Will lock on eventually. There we go. Cool. Right. Off we go, let's get some tint coats on there. Right, so I'm going to write on here again 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. You're probably wondering why I'm starting from 2. Now the reason why I'm starting on 2 coats is because 1 coat just does not give you the coverage, does not give you enough coverage at all. So if I do 1 coat on here, which is what I'm going to do, then you'll see what happens. It will literally just be the patchiest, most terrible coat in the world. So what we want to do is not go too heavy on there, still again spraying at 2 bar, so we're going to put a coat on there, but you watch the difference in colour. You see that change instantly, like look at the depth on it compared to before. So we're going to dry that off now, and then we're going to put another coat on. So that's dry now. Again, we're going to chuck another full coat of your pearl coat on there. And as you can see, I'm doing a full coat from this end all the way to that end. So that's it, 2 coats. So where we've got 2 coats on there, we're not going to revisit this one anymore. This one's done. So then we're going to start coating it from this one onwards. So we'll work up with the 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then that should give us the colour. So one of these should match. If one of these doesn't match, then we're going to move on to the other side, which we're going to spray out as well in a minute, which will be the lighter shade, and then one of those ones should match. If one of those ones doesn't match, then well, then we're then we got to get it formulated by yeah, we got to get custom formulation done on it. But hopefully one of those should match. So we'll get these dried off. So that is 2 coats dry, and what I want to do is I want to show you what I do to just so as I can count how many coats I put on, because otherwise I'll forget. So I'll literally just tear a bit off and put it on the window. So 1, 2. So yeah, 2 bits on the glass means 2 coats. Every time I do another coat, what I do is I just tear a bit of tape off and put it on the window, because then I know exactly where I am. So we're going to get the 3rd coat done. So obviously 2nd coat here, we just leave that as is, and then we're just going to go 3 onwards. Three coats. Get them dried off. So that's the 3 coats done. So I'm just going to continue with the 4, 5 and 6 and get them all done. 4 done. Look at the difference in colour. See how dark they get. Right, so that's it, 6 coats. 6 coats done, so that's all the spray out cards done on this greyer shade. You can see this one, where it's just 2 coats, it's still slightly patchy, whereas these level themselves out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab the filler cap, and we'll check the colour just quickly. Biggest trick here is to check with the lights off, because the lights in here will alter the colour completely. So just get that there. So we've got different colours here, different. So this one's like a like sunlight, like the sun going down, basically. So like, I suppose, yeah, it's kind of like dusk lights. It's very yellow, and then we've got whiter. You can see the difference in the greens changing colour. Hopefully it picks it up. I don't know whether it'll pick it up. It's all a bit new to me, so I'll see if I can colour grade it enough to show you. But yeah, you can see that's too deep. That 6 coats is way too strong. Can you see that? I don't know whether I'll show you. It's too dark. There you go. But let's get the other ones done. So what I'm going to do now, you can see the pearls in there. Unreal colour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip this over and do the other coats. So these are now fully dry. Obviously we haven't lacquered them yet. I'm going to lacquer everything in one go. So I'm literally just going to pull this tape off, flip it over so as we can then cover them up, because we don't want the overspray from the other ones getting on that one. So we're done here. Yeah, it's all dry. I'm literally just going to flip this over. We want to secure this a little bit down, stop it from flapping around everywhere. Cool, so again we're going to go to 6 coats, but with the lighter variant. So we're going to have to clean the gun out, always cleaning the guns out. Clean the gun out and go again. Looks exactly the same, probably isn't. In fact, it definitely isn't. It's that's way lighter. Look at the difference. Way lighter. So we've now got the, how many coats have we got? We got 6 spray out cards done. So we've now got 6 spray out cards. We are just moving on to the lighter shades. So we're going to go for the lighter shade and do another 6 spray out cards. So fingers crossed, in these 12 spray out cards we will get the Lamborghini Revuelto colour. If not, then we're going to have to custom match it, but fingers crossed we can get it. Let's have a look, let's carry on and see what we can get. Right, let's go. I'm going to chuck the temperature back up as well. So the temperature here, back up. 20 degrees. There we go. So again, we're literally going to mimic the other side. So we're going to get this all coloured up. 3 coats, and then 3 coats of 2 bar. And then we'll start putting the tinted clear coat on. Okay, so that's the drop coat done as well. So that is all of the ground coat, all of that pearl coat done for those 6 spray outs, which are the lighter shade. We know it's covered again because you can't see any of the black on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that. Right, that's ground coat done, so we're going to mix up the tinted clear now and pop that on there. And tint you down a bit. These are literally the worst cups ever. They have a habit, if you've got it down the side, of it will literally go everywhere as soon as you put it down. Yep. Nice. Right, so it's pretty similar to that one. Possibly a bit greener actually. Right. chuck that on the scale, zero it up, and we're going to go 300 again, and then 30% of the water-based thinner. So let's try and get 300 again out of it. That's pretty close. There we go. 0.1 of a gram out. Always 0.1 of a gram out. Never mind. Right. Just double check that. Nearly, that was 10% thinner. I nearly messed that right up. So yeah, it's supposed to have 30% thinner, so it's 90 grams. Yeah, 90 grams. Here we go. That's better. She's good to go. I'm going to take this. There we go. It's back in the booth. And again here, it's a lighter shade. So 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, they're all dry. So start off with 2 coats on there. And what we've still got up here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll chuck another one on there with a 6, and then we take them off while we get these coats on. So you can see the colour now. Watch this change as I'm putting it on. I'm going to get it closer so you can see it. Bit of difference in colour there, unreal. Take that one off of there. So yeah, that's 2. So that's 1 coat done. So let's get the second coat on, and then get that drying. So it's 2 coats down and dry. And jump on the 3rd coat. Now if you see what I'm doing here as well, is when I'm painting, I'm angling the gun this way. So I'm angling it that way. Reason being is because you got this card here, and I don't want to get any more on that card because that card is 3 coats. This card's 4 coats, so I'm just angling it, directing the spray this way so as it doesn't go over it. But that's just what I'm doing now. So 4 coats are done, so we've got 2 more coats to do. That's all 6 coats, all 6 done. So we're not going to drop coat it. You probably noticed we didn't drop coat the last one. Now the reason why we don't drop coat that is purely because if you drop coat it, it's just going to make it patchy. You only really need to drop coat a metallic, no solids. You can drop coat solid colours if you really want. However, here with it being a tint coat, we don't want to be doing that. So that's it, that is all of them done. So now we're going to take this off, and what we're going to do is we're going to lacquer them all together. Wow, that sucks. So this is the reason why, yeah, that sucks is that's happened. So basically that has stuck to there. The reason why that stuck to there is because I flipped it over and it had the, like we were talking about, the one coat will stick, one coat won't stick, one coat will, so one coat, one side. So the matte side here has just let paint through that has then stuck to that spray out card. Not a problem as it's a spray out card because we can still get the colour match on this edge, as it's only really happened on that edge, but yeah, it at least shows you exactly what's happened there. But so I'm going to get these all, make sure they're all completely dry, and we've got the lighter shades that side and the greyer shade this side. So I'm going to make sure they're completely dry, and then I'm going to lacquer them all in one go. Clear coat gun again, another Iwata Supernova WS400. Yeah, pretty cool looking things. So clear coat wise, we can use the 0320 Max. It's kind of like a good all-round clear, and a 2730 hardener, which is a fast one. Yeah, good all-round clear. Keep it in there because there's actually a radiator behind there which keeps all the clears warm, which is the biggest thing with clear coat, is to keep it warm. Ideally you don't want to put any thinners in it, because when you start adding thinners to clear, it starts pinching up. You start losing quality of it, you start breaking it down, which is not what we want to do. So I'm going to mix this up, and then we'll go and put a coat of this on there. Obviously you want to be using the same clear coat that you're using for the actual car itself. In fact, that should be enough. Yeah, that'll be enough. Right, let's go put some clear coat on this. Just going to give them a quick tack off as well. Two bar. state of that one where it's got that paper stuck to it. We've got one coat of clear on this and it's tacked off. Now, a lot of people would just put one coat of clear on their spray out cards. We're going to put two on. The reason being is because that's exactly the amount of coats that we're going to be putting on the car. Now, some clear coats do have a yellowing effect. The reason why they have a yellowing effect is because they contain, and I'm going to explain this. I'm actually going to explain this with, let's have a look in here. It might show you. We look in there. This one's pretty clear, to be honest, but it still has a slight yellow tinge to it. Now, the reason why it has a yellow tinge to it is because it has a UV protection in it. Now, the UV protection will change the colour slightly. So, because these are so, well, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. So, if we put one coat on and they're one shade, so they're not as yellow. So if we put two coats on, they're going to be yellower. They're going to be the correct shade. Now, that shade might not even show up to the human eye. It definitely won't show up to this camera. And it might not show up to the human eye unless it's under a certain light, unless it's under garage light, unless it's under street light or direct sunlight. However, they have to be exactly the same. So we're going to chuck two coats on these spray outs. That's the reason why we're doing two coats on them, because the process needs to be exactly the same as the process throughout the throughout the painting of the car. So let's chuck another coat on. So we've finally got a bit of sunshine outside. So I've got George here. George is going to hang on to the Revuelto part that we've got off. We've got all the spray outs here, so we're going to check them in natural light. Then we're going to put three different versions of sunlight on them. And fingers crossed we've actually got a colour match. So I'm going to spin you around and we're going to have a look and see whether we've got a colour match. So here's the part. So we're going to start off with the lighter shade here. So we've got the lighter shade. It goes from 2 coats all the way to 5 coats. So as you can see, there's a big difference of those. If I hold those up in the sun, so that's that's nowhere near. To be fair, I don't think. To be fair, none of those are anywhere near. None of the lighter shade is actually anywhere near that panel. Anywhere near close enough. So we're going to now have a look at the greyer shade here, which starts at 2 coats this end. So on the right hand side you've got 2 coats, and that goes all the way up to 6 coats. You can see the change in colour there. So yeah, fingers crossed in the light. These are, yeah, they're looking so much better. They're a lot closer. I don't know whether you can see because I'm creating a bit of a shadow there. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with 6 and then work our way down. Do you hold the 6 on there? So let's have a look at that. That's far too dark. Go with 5 coats. Just pop that one on the. Let's try 5 coats. So that's getting closer, but it's still a bit too dark. Can you twist it? Yeah, that's still a tad too dark there. So this is 4 coats. We're going to try 4 coats on here. Let's have a look at that at different angles. That's a lot closer. Let's go 3. Yeah, 3 is a lot better. I'm happy with that. 3 is pretty good. It's still a tiny bit too dark though. Let's try 2. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know whether you can see that from a distance. It's changing colour, but it's changing colour and flipping the exactly right to the panel. If we can just put that down a tiny bit so it's exactly the same shape as that panel. Yeah, there you go. So that's 2 coats of the tinted clear, lighter shade. Is it lighter shade? No, greyish shade.
Grey.
Yeah, 2 coats of the tinted clear, greyish shade. So we've got the colour. We actually have the colour. The only problem is 2 coats is going to be patchy because it's not got enough coverage on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to reformulate this, make it a bit weaker, so as it's more like 4 coats. 4 coats gives you the coverage. So we're just going to make that tint a lot weaker, and then yeah, we're going to make the tint a lot weaker than that. So that is the colour. 2 coats of the grey shade. So it's grey shade. 2 coats of the tinted clear is the correct colour for the Revuelto. So we're going to match that edge to edge, so as the customer can just bolt the panels back on and then go from there. Rather than, you find a lot of the time is people repaint the whole cars. They're trying to colour match the whole cars, so they're repainting the whole cars, which is not exactly what you want to be doing. We want to paint as little as possible, keep the original paint on the car. PPF, just not all the car. You know, we want to be PPF in just small amounts of the car rather than all of it. So that's that full colour match. So now that we know we've got the colour match in direct sunlight, we're going to check that under different lights on the panel. So we're going to check that in like a dull light, a yellow light, then a bright white light, and then a false white light as well. And then we're going to check under the lights in the workshop to make sure it's absolutely perfect. So we know we've got it in direct sunlight, in natural light. So we're going to spin this around and we're going to check it underneath the other lights. So you can see there, that's under the yellower light, and that's perfect. There's a white light, comes into focus. That's good as well. It's slightly different because we've got it on a slight different angle. It's hard to replicate the angle. And then an even whiter light, so you can see it flick across the 2 there. That's absolutely perfect. So we're going to check that in the workshop now and make sure it's all right underneath the false lights. So we're in the workshop now underneath the false light. So this is like the light when you pull up in a service station and you're going to refuel. So it's really important to check underneath this light. And as you can see, that's absolutely perfect. So I'm going to check that with the yellower light. Again, that's fine there. White light, and then even whiter light. So that is that's about as good as you're ever going to get. So no blend required, just edge to edge match. Okay, so that's it. I have done another another 5 spray outs. I have also changed the strength of the tint coat. I've put 50% binder in there, so 50% by weight binder in there. So what we've done is we've effectively made the tint coat a lot less strong. So weakened it right up. So now to give you an idea of how weak it is, here are 2 spray outs. So they are, you probably won't be able to see that in this light because it's too reflective, but they are literally exactly the same color. However, one has 4 coats on it and one has 7 coats of tint coat on it. If I swap them round, they will change color a bit in this light. It's so it's so strange to see them swapping color, but yeah, if I get this outside in natural light, then they are exactly the same. So basically what we've done is we've added more coats to alleviate the patching on the panel. So your 2 coats originally should be 4 to 5 coats. So now that we can go 4 to 5 coats, if we have any overlap, we don't have any problems. So it matches edge to edge with the customer's Lamborghini color originally. So yeah, all done. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, just hit that little button, the like and subscribe button. We will be releasing hopefully a video every week on painting, also all the sorts of weird and wonderful cars that we have in. Nissan S15, that's actually one of mine. We have a very rare Toyota Crown with some ridiculously wide arches, as you can see there. That's another one of the projects in at the minute, along with like normal accident repairs, insurance repairs, absolutely everything. And we'll also be putting some drifting in on the videos as well. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe button if you like it. If you don't, well, you don't need to. So yeah, it's entirely up to you. But yeah, hit those buttons and comment below if you work in the automotive industry, you like what you see, or if you've got any comments that you know, disagreeing, agreeing with how we do the color matching. It would be great to know what you think, and it would also be great to get some feedback. You know, if you guys do anything different, then let me know. It's always good to learn. So yeah, speak to you guys soon.